Hi, welcome to the quiz. You can answer along on quizalto.com, all for free. The exact URL of this quiz will be in the notes down below. Let's get started, good luck. What is a feature transformation in Amazon Fraud Detector? A method to process raw event data into meaningful features. A technique to encrypt data. A process to compress data. A way to manage user permissions. Feature transformation in Amazon Fraud Detector involves processing raw event data into meaningful features for model training and evaluation. What is the purpose of model evaluation in Amazon Fraud Detector? To manage network traffic. To increase data storage. To assess the performance of fraud detection models. To compress event data. Model evaluation in Amazon Fraud Detector is conducted to assess the performance and accuracy of fraud detection models. What is a common feature used in Amazon Fraud Detector models? Transaction amount. Geolocation data. Image resolution. Audio frequency. Transaction amount is a common feature used in Amazon Fraud Detector models to assess the risk of fraud. What is a prediction in Amazon Fraud Detector? The network bandwidth used. The assessed risk level of an event. The type of encryption used. The storage location of data. A prediction in Amazon Fraud Detector refers to the assessed risk level of an event, indicating the likelihood of fraud. What does the term feature refer to in Amazon Fraud Detector? A stored data file. An encrypted password. A variable used in a fraud detection model. A visual element in the console. In Amazon Fraud Detector, a feature refers to a variable used in a fraud detection model to help predict the likelihood of fraud. Why is it important to regularly update fraud detection models in Amazon Fraud Detector? To improve network speed. To enhance the user interface. To increase storage space. To adapt to new fraud patterns and tactics. Regularly updating fraud detection models in Amazon Fraud Detector is important to adapt to new fraud patterns and tactics, maintaining high detection accuracy. What does the term event refer to in Amazon Fraud Detector? A data encryption process. A user login attempt. An occurrence that is evaluated for fraud. A scheduled system maintenance. In Amazon Fraud Detector, an event refers to an occurrence, such as a transaction or login, that is evaluated for potential fraud. What is an outcome in Amazon Fraud Detector? The result of evaluating an event for fraud. A type of encryption method. A data storage format. A compression technique. An outcome in Amazon Fraud Detector is the result of evaluating an event for fraud, such as fraudulent or legitimate. How does Amazon Fraud Detector help in model training? By offering audio processing capabilities. By optimizing storage costs. By creating user accounts automatically. By providing built-in algorithms for fraud detection. Amazon Fraud Detector provides built-in algorithms specifically designed for fraud detection, aiding in model training. What is a common use case for Amazon Fraud Detector? Storing high-resolution images. Hosting websites. Running large-scale simulations. Preventing fraudulent credit card transactions. A common use case for Amazon Fraud Detector is preventing fraudulent credit card transactions. What is the main purpose of a rule in Amazon Fraud Detector? To store event data. To encrypt data in transit. To manage user roles. To define specific conditions for identifying fraud. The main purpose of a rule in Amazon Fraud Detector is to define specific conditions under which an event should be flagged as potentially fraudulent. What is the purpose of Amazon Fraud Detector's risk threshold setting? To limit the size of data files. To manage user session times. To encrypt data at rest. To determine the cutoff for flagging events as potentially fraudulent. The purpose of the risk threshold setting in Amazon Fraud Detector is to determine the cutoff point for flagging events as potentially fraudulent. What kind of data can be used to train models in Amazon Fraud Detector? High-resolution video data. Historical event data. Real-time audio data. Geospatial data. Historical event data can be used to train models in Amazon Fraud Detector, helping to identify patterns associated with fraudulent activity. What is a detector version in Amazon Fraud Detector? A data schema format. A historical log of fraud events. A specific configuration of a detector including rules and models. A backup of the detector data. A detector version is a specific configuration of a detector, including the rules and models used to evaluate events. What is the significance of model versioning in Amazon Fraud Detector? To manage user access. To track changes and improvements in fraud detection models. To store large datasets. To compress event data. Model versioning in Amazon Fraud Detector is important for tracking changes and improvements in fraud detection models over time. Why is model evaluation important in Amazon Fraud Detector? To ensure models accurately identify fraudulent activities. To simplify the user interface. To reduce storage costs. To manage network traffic. Model evaluation is important in Amazon Fraud Detector to ensure that models accurately identify fraudulent activities and minimize false positives and negatives. What is a primary advantage of using Amazon Fraud Detector? Automated and scalable fraud detection. Manual data entry process. Reduced internet speeds. Increased hardware requirements. A primary advantage of using Amazon Fraud Detector is its automated and scalable approach to fraud detection, which can handle large volumes of transactions in real time. What is the purpose of a detector in Amazon Fraud Detector? To store large datasets. To encrypt data in transit. To manage access control policies. To evaluate the likelihood of fraud for specific events. A detector in Amazon Fraud Detector evaluates the likelihood of fraud for specific events based on the models and rules applied. What is the role of an event type in Amazon Fraud Detector? To encrypt data. To specify data storage locations. To define the structure of events to be evaluated for fraud. To manage user access. An event type in Amazon Fraud Detector defines the structure of events that need to be evaluated for fraud detection. What is the advantage of using Amazon Fraud Detector over traditional methods? Offline processing. Manual review process. Automated, real-time detection. Static rule sets. Amazon Fraud Detector provides automated, real-time detection of fraud, which is more efficient than traditional, manual methods. What kind of events can Amazon Fraud Detector analyze? Online transactions. Genomic data. Video streaming. Audio recordings. Amazon Fraud Detector can analyze online transactions and other related events to detect potential fraud. What is a label in Amazon Fraud Detector? An outcome associated with an event. A network protocol. A data compression technique. A type of encryption method. A label in Amazon Fraud Detector is an outcome associated with an event, such as fraudulent or legitimate. How does Amazon Fraud Detector ensure data security? By using a separate network. By converting data to binary format. By integrating with AWS security services like IAM and Key Management Service. By compressing all data. Amazon Fraud Detector ensures data security by integrating with AWS security services such as IAM and Key Management Service. What is Amazon Fraud Detector used for? To encrypt sensitive data. To optimize database queries. To monitor network traffic. To detect online payment fraud. Amazon Fraud Detector is a fully managed service that makes it easy to identify potentially fraudulent online activities such as payment fraud. How does Amazon Fraud Detector support compliance? By offering physical security features. By providing detailed logs and audit trails. By requiring multi-factor authentication. By encrypting data at rest only. Amazon Fraud Detector supports compliance by providing detailed logs and audit trails of fraud detection activities. And that's a wrap. Thanks to everyone who participated. Remember, you can answer along on quizalto.com, where you can keep track of your progress and find much more quizzes. We hope you had a fun and challenging time. Until next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more. Hit the bell icon to be notified as soon as we upload. Please leave a comment if you have any thoughts or suggestions, and, if you think this video is worth sharing with someone who could benefit from it, please forward a link to them. See you next time. Thanks for watching.